Hello, 8 East receiving students and teachers. Thank you. Take your seats. Receiving teachers and students plus the model class, we will go through the strand for today's lesson, substrand, and the lesson topic. Our strand for today's lesson and the lessons to come is on living things, substrand, nature of living things. The learning outcome in which we will be doing activities centered around this learning outcome is 8.2.1. Describe and explain the processes of reproduction in living things and how the environment influences these processes. Class, get ready to now write the topic of today's lesson in your exercise book. Right. Please write down the topic, receiving students and the model class, characteristics of living things. Receiving teacher, you may write the topic on the board for your students. Now, I'm sure receiving students and the model class, you have gone, or some of you may know the meaning of this word characteristics, or you have learned about the characteristics of living things. When we talk about living things, we refer to plants and animals, right? So in our last lesson, we looked at the two types of cells, which is the plant cell and the animal cell. You identified the different parts and you also wrote the differences and similarities, and you defined what cell is in your own words. So today we will be doing more activities based on the characteristics of living things, which is our topic for today. Now, receiving students in the model class, you will be viewing a short tape, and you will be, while viewing the tape, I'd like you to answer this question that I have for you on the monitor. The question reads, why are living things called living things? Or in another word, you can say, what are living things? So while watching, have that question at the back of your mind. Why are living things called living things, or what are living things? Alright, that's the end of the short video show. Remember, you had a question to answer. Just looking through the tape, what can you say about living things? What makes you to think that living things are living? What did you see? Did you see the wallaby scratching itself? Yes. You saw the birds feeding or eating. What can you say about living things? Yes?
Living things can move around.
Very good. So when she says moving around, come back to our lesson topic. Can we say that is one characteristics of living things? Are you sure? All right, we'll find out more. Yes, of course, living things can move. But you talk about a car on the road. Can it move? Why isn't it called a living thing? We refer to a car as a non-living thing. Okay. But it can move. Right? So she has already given us one characteristics of living things. Living things can move. Good. So that makes you think that why we say living things are living things because they can move. Is that all or some other things that living things can do? Come on, 80s. Yes, thank you. The boy at the back.
Living things reproduce.
Very good. I am thinking of that word, reproduce. All living things reproduce. Now coming back to that car. Do you think car reproduces? Right? So now you can tell the difference between a living thing and a non-living thing. Reproduce is one characteristics of living things. Now let's go on to looking at the other characteristics of living things. I know you have some answers there to give to me, but let's move on. Okay. All living things have characteristics like what we have heard already. Living things can reproduce. Living things can respond to stimuli, meaning they are sensitive to what's around them, both plants and animals. For plants, it's not really obvious except for some plants. Okay? Feeding, all living things must feed in order to live and for you to have energy. Next one, movement. Excretion simply means living things must give out waste, excrete. Okay? And living things all breathe in and out air. Human beings breathe in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide, so respiration. And the last one, all living things grow. You imagine yourself in 5 to 20 years time. Will you be the same? No, if you have a puppy at home or a pig that you are looking after, the pig or puppy will not stay the same as it is. All living things must grow. So when we look at these 7 things, they are known as characteristics of living things. Now, we will now go on to our activity for today. Okay, our activity for today, we are going to be observing leaves. Right? We are going to discuss, make prediction in our groups, receiving students, and we will observe the different sizes of leaves. Now, this is what you will be doing. In our previous lesson, we found out that all living things are made up of cells. They are made up of cells, and cells are building blocks of life. Right? Now, I have a leaf here. Okay, this is a small leaf. Okay, next one. This leaf is from a plant called, everybody knows the name of this plant, frangipani. Okay, then I'll show you the next size of this leaf. What can we say the next size is? Is it big? Okay, it is bigger than the first one. Okay, what about the next one? Okay, much bigger than the 2 leaves already. So we say small, medium size, and big. If you want to say large, then it's all up to you. Right. So we know that this small leaf is made up of cells. All these leaves are made up of cells, which we cannot see with our naked eyes. We can use a microscope to help us observe cells. Now, I have a problem for you to discuss in group and come up with your reasons why you give your answer to this problem. Let's have a look at that problem. When the leaf grew and increased in size, we are referring to these frangipani leaves. What do you think? Question 1. Did the cells increase in size to make the leaf big? Or did the cells increase in numbers to make the leaf big? You give your reason. We are looking at characteristics, which means we are looking at growth, the growth of the leaf, increasing in size. But this time we are looking at cells. Anyone's got a question? You don't understand, please raise your hand up. Do you want me to explain the question again? Right, you will be given leaves, receiving students. If you don't have leaves, then you can observe from the model class. You will be given different sizes of leaves, starting from the smallest to the largest, and you will work around these two questions here. Discuss in group. Some of you will agree with the first one, and some of you will agree with the second one. The next activity, we will confirm everyone's answer. So you only discuss and observe the leaves. You will not use any microscope to help you to observe the leaves. You will just observe the leaves as they are. We are going to use the skills observation, observing, and making predictions or guessing what our answers would be like before we confirm our answers. All right. And refer to the two questions. Did the cells increase in size to make the leaf big? Comparing their sizes from the smallest to the largest. Or did the cells increase in numbers to make the leaf big? Come on, let's talk and share our ideas with each other. So what do you think? I think you're going to have... Okay. You should be arguing with each other because some of you won't believe, you won't agree with the first one. Some of you won't agree about the second one. Come on, you must make sure your argument is convincing. Meaning you will convince the other and say, oh yes, this is true or this is not true. What do you think? Did the cells increase in numbers or they grew big in size? And why do you support your first answer? Or which one are you going for? The second one. So why did you go for the second one? What is making you to believe that the second one is right? Is that convincing? Will you convince your friends with that explanation, reason? Okay, what did you find find out who is on the first one and who is on the second one. First one, good. What's your reason? Trying to work out your reason. What's yours on the second one? So what is your reason for choosing the second one? Why?
Just trying to discuss.
Okay. So your reasons are really convincing, so you can make others to believe you that you are right. Alright. Question number why? Why did you come up with that answer? Why did you choose the first one? Okay. And who went for the second one? Oh no, sorry, you are saying about second one. You go for the second one, not the first one. Okay. But please in English. All right, receiving students and the model class, I'm sure you have already decided on which one you go for, either sales increasing in number or sales growing or increasing in size. Our next activity that we will do, class looking up here, you are going to use hand lens to observe the different sizes of the leaves to identify the cells if possible. And there is a question that you will answer. What can you say about the cells of the leaf? Right. If you don't know how a hand lens look like, this is a hand lens. Okay, and hand lens come in many sizes. Okay, this is a big one that which you can use, and it is meant to make smaller things become big, okay, or bigger. Right. And this is how you observe the leaf using the hand lens, watching. You're observing, you look straight, not your head moving, only the lens moving up and down, depending on where you want the lens to be. You just adjust the lens to observe. Thank you. Okay, everybody should have the chance of observing, please. Already, which one's already? So what can you say about the cells of the leaf? Can you see them? The hand lens? Okay, who's then? Who is? And your first and second question, which one did you go for? Second one. Why did you say second one? What if they grow in size? What if they grow in size? The leaf will grow bigger. Yeah, the leaf will grow big, but at the moment, can you see them? Do you think about the banana leaf? Do you see cells? Because it's really big. If you say the cells will increase in size, do you think the banana leaf can be able to see the cells? So they only, I don't know. right, I'm sure the model class you have all given a chance to observe the leaves. Now we will go back to our first activity that was on deciding which. Do you agree? Did the cells increase in size to make the leaf big, or did the cells increase in numbers to make the leaf big? Right. Let's see. How many of you went for the first one? Thank you. Be honest with yourself. You said the cells increase in size to make the leaf big. Good. Put your hands down. Now, how many of you went for the second one? The cells only increase in numbers. Very good. Hands down. Now, this is not the end. You are to give your reason why you went for the first one. So those of us who went for the first one, please, can you tell us why you agreed on the first question? I know you have a reason. That is why you went for the first one. Habi. Habi will give us his reason for the first question. Cells increased in size.
When the cells increase in size, the leaf grows
Right, good.
bigger.
So, bigger, which means, all right. Now, that's his answer for, that's his reason for choosing question 1. Any more reasons apart from what we have heard from the student here? No, let's go on to the second one. Those of us who went for the second one, the cells only increased in numbers. Why did you choose that? Are we ready?
I think the cells increase in population when they reproduce. There are more cells. That's why the leaf gets bigger and bigger
All right.
when the cells numbers are increasing.
Thank you. So that is a reason for that. Anyone's got a reason that is more convincing, or meaning everybody will believe you that your answer is right, your reason is good. What about the first table here? Let's hear from you.
When the cells increase its number, it grows bigger.
It grows bigger. Did you say it increased in size? And the third one, the group from the last group there at the back, your answer, is it similar to the second one? Grows bigger when cells increase in number. Okay. Now, anyone's got something more to add on this?
When cells increases in number, the leaf grows bigger and it reproduces new leaves.
All right. Grows in number, and you say new leaves. The new leaves grow. Good, but as I was moving around, I had some good answers, but some of us are probably afraid to give those answers out. All right. So some of you may think that or you may come up with the answer that sales increase in numbers, and you will find that if the sales grow bigger in size, you will actually see the sales using your eyes. You won't need the help of a microscope or a hand lens, but in fact you will use a microscope to observe sales. Okay, did you think about that? Hands up if you had that same answer like what I'm giving to you now. Good, but you were probably too shy to give us that. Anyway, so we will see that the first question is not correct. The cells won't increase in size. If the cells increase in size, you will actually see the cell wall, the nucleus, the membrane, what else, the parts of the cells, you will clearly identify them. But the cells did not increase in size, whereas the cells increase in only numbers. That is why you cannot see them. As a result of that, the leaf changed its size. Okay, from the smallest to the largest. Just like human beings, baby to adult. Or you go through some stages and you reach maturity or adult stage. Right? So if you imagine if cells grew in your body and you see them with your naked eyes. Okay, it's impossible. Right. So today's activity, receiving students in the model class, is on observing leaves and trying to solve a problem on either the cells grow in size or increase in numbers. And you have already discussed and found out your answers of your own. Let's now look at our homework, right? Receiving students, your teacher will copy that for you on the board. For the model class, you will be given your worksheets to take home for homework. This homework is based on the characteristics of living things. You have column A and column B. You are going to match the 7 characteristics with the description in column B. Let's do one as an example. Reproduction. Where will we match reproduction? With which statement? Change of size and shape, giving out waste, gas exchange, how sensitive it is to the environment, where it gets its food, and what it is, type of movement, or how and when it reproduces. Which one? Okay, so your arrow should be from the first one to the last description. Is that clear? Okay, that's your homework. Receiving students, please complete that homework. To copy the homework for receiving teachers. Okay. Receiving teachers, you are given 2 minutes to copy this homework for your students on the board. Get one and pass the rest. Get one, pass the rest. Right, this homework is going to be more like the summary of the lesson, okay? But on the characteristics of living things. Right. Receiving students and the model class, our next lesson will be on structure and function of plants. Materials needed for the lesson, the next lesson, I want you to bring small plants. Please don't break them from the stem or the leaf. You have to bring a whole plant, meaning uproot the plant, and the plant must have all its parts like the leaf, stem, and the roots. Right? So any weed that you can find near your house, at the back, near the classroom, please bring that for our next lesson. We will be using that. Our keyword for today, class, let's say the keyword for today. All right, so we were on growth. With that, thank you, class, and the receiving students for participating. Thank you. You may be seated, please.